Let's see. Hey, you guys, it's Shay. Look at me. I'm just trying to do a quick little wardrobe change. Angie's coming on today. Again, she's one of these wonderful people that I have yet to meet in person. Oh, there she is. She's pretty badass, you guys. This is her. I mean, like, honestly, I don't know all the ranking, but I know she's like something. I mean, hey, Angie! Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, welcome and thank you for coming here today.
Thank you.
And tell it, have we met before in person?
We have not.
Never. We've never met in
We have
person.
to. I have to come visit my best friend in Charlotte.
Well, you need to
So
come see me.
I will.
Where?
Absolutely.
Well, where are you right now?
I am in Minnesota.
Okay. Ooh. Oh. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you're gonna have to, if you don't mind. See, I left my earrings someplace, but where they are, who knows?
I'll try to find them. You look beautiful without them.
Well, thank you. So do you, young lady. So you're in Minnesota.
I am.
Woo. How far outside of Minneapolis?
I am about an hour and 45 minutes from Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yes.
What's
feels,
the? Go ahead.
Feels like a world apart from Minneapolis. So just to give you a little bit of background, I live in a small farming community.
Okay.
When I moved here 5 years ago, I was like one of two Hispanic people at the time.
Really small numbers.
Really small. I was pretty blessed though, because the community, Caucasians for the most part, they were so welcoming.
Sure.
And I think a big part of that is that my husband's family, they're very well known in the community, very involved in the community. But then at the same time, it's very close. Minneapolis is very close. And
okay.
I drive up there for work. I go to Minneapolis a lot for work.
Uh-huh.
And it's, even though all these riots are happening in Minneapolis, there's like a tension.
What do you feel? Tell me what you feel.
For me, it's I'm feeling kind of torn. I feel exhausted. I have not been to the protest.
That's real.
Because, we have the kids and everything. But I feel exhausted. One of the people I talked to on Instagram, one of my followers, she lives in Rochester. She's also from Puerto Rico. And big activist. And I said, is it me? Or are you feeling exhausted? She's like, I feel dead tired. And it's like, because I am biracial, I feel torn. And let me explain that.
Please do.
Because I don't look black. I look Indian. I look Middle Eastern. I have never had to experience what my grandma, who looked black, did.
Who looked like me.
Yes, and my grandma was darker than you.
Yeah.
And she was a proud, feisty black woman.
Go ahead, Grandma. What do we call her? Yeah. What do we call her?
Mamina.
Mamina. I love it.
Yes. And she was feisty with her shocking pink long nails.
Do it, girl.
Touch those nails.
Don't stop, Graham.
Yeah.
Mamina.
So she, growing up, I heard about the things that she experienced that I never had to experience because I don't look black.
But I don't
look white.
You don't look white either. But you're touching on something that's actually very important. It shows you that race is a social construct. It's not something that just exists in nature like this, because you are black, if you will.
Exactly.
But because you don't look black, then you don't experience a black life. And isn't that crazy? I mean, because if you think about it, like what you're made of is the same stuff I'm made of, but somehow we're going to allot valuation to the different, the way it comes out. It just shows you like you could have two different races of people who are brother and sister.
Yeah. It's, and I think for me, it's double because I'm Hispanic.
Right.
So, because I am Puerto Rican, we're automatically U.S. citizens, right?
Right.
So when people talk to me like, oh, you understand the plight of the Hispanic people, I have to say to them, actually, I do not. Because I do not know the hardship of
to try to get here.
Leave everything that you know to try to make a better life and going through the dangers of coming to this country. It
Right.
isn't given from birthright. So I don't
Right.
have to worry about that. So um, just seeing this
Hmm.
transpire has been so heavy for me. Um, I've always paid attention to racial relations,
Sure.
but I don't think, and I ashamed to say that it has not been until now. And there is something about that video that I just had such a reaction. I forced myself to watch it
You're
because
better
I
than
said
me. I couldn't.
if I am going to understand this, I need to see it.
You're right.
And I remember calling my mom, and
Like George called his mom.
I was crying, and my mom said, "What is going on?" And my mom, you know, she right now she's all wrapped into her great grandbaby, and so I explained to her, and she had not seen it, and so she said, "Okay, I'm gonna look at it once the baby goes to bed," because of course she forgot that she has a daughter now is the baby,
Hmm.
and
Yes.
yes, and so my mom is in Dallas now.
Oh,
She just
okay.
moved
And that's a
there.
large, there's a lot of Latinos there, but they're Mexican
Yes.
Americans.
So
Yeah.
my brother, she's with my brother. My brother started a job there, and so she called me like an hour later. She said, "Oh my God, are you okay? I see all the riots," and she's crying on the phone, and we're both crying. And I remember asking her, I said, "Mom, did you ever experience racism because of my parents? My mom was the darker skin, while my dad was white."
The white
And
one.
she said, "Oh, absolutely."
Does your
So
mom look more like my
like you,
complexion?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
You
So can
can't
I tell
hide that.
can I tell you a quick story?
Yes. Girl, can you?
So
Yes.
my mom was telling me that when she met my dad and she went to a big family dinner, everybody in my side of the my dad's side of the family was white, and part of them were pretty snobbish.
Hmm.
My mom, though, has always been very, and I'm going to use the word uppity, but in the right way, not like she's an uppity black
Right,
woman,
right. Like she's not going
And
to
my
let your
mom
opinion of
taught
her.
herself how to use the serving ware, what forks to use, and everything. And they have this little dish with lemon for for your fingertips and
That's right, to
everything.
clean them.
That's right. So they brought out the dishes, and they brought my mom plastic dishes. And my mom was like, "I'm sorry, do we have a problem here?" Because my
I
mom is pretty outspoken.
I want to know what your father did in that story.
So my mom says that my dad was speechless. And because he couldn't believe they did that.
He was a white Puerto Rican, though, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And my mom says that my dad held her hand, like, take a deep breath. And my mom was like, "Oh no, we're not going to take a deep breath."
Your mom was like, fight the power.
That's
I'm
right.
about to
And
let
my
y'all
mom
know.
said, "I don't know who you think you are, but in my house, we eat in China. I am not some servant. I am not some maid. So do not insult me ever again like that."
Ooh. She said
And my
this to the
mom said,
in-laws.
"Huh?"
Mom said this to the in-laws, the
Yes,
soon-to-be
to the
in-laws.
whole family. There were like 25 of them. It was like, I tell you what though,
So
because nobody had ever pushed back, she is the favorite. They love her.
it's funny how
Isn't it
that
crazy?
happened. No, it's funny. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the favorite by any means, but it's funny. Like I married a white American guy from the South, so a very evolved thinking family and group.
Yep.
They loved me,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was not the prize that they were like, that they wanted their son to, and he is his father's only child. So, and his parents are divorced. Hey, English, his parents are divorced. So he's his father's only child. He's his mother's only son. So the
Okay.
truth is, even if I, even if I had been like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl, his parents would have found some kind of problem with me. It wouldn't have been
Yep.
as ridiculous, just because I also married a person in a place of like great adoration of his parents, right? Because
Yep.
he's their prized child. But it's funny how that, like, I was absolutely scorned. I was not treated well. And it's funny. I bet you if you talk to them, they'd be like, we were fine with Shay. No, it was horrible. It was horrible. I remember I'd be like, you know what? We don't need to be married. Let's get a divorce. Go ahead and get yourself a nice little white girl and you can live happily ever after. And I'm going back home to the Bahamas because I don't want this. I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
You know, like there's actually a lot of people who think that I'm a pretty great person. I'm really intentional about showing love and forgiveness. And it was just so amazing to me that they had me caught in this narrative that had nothing to do with me, but they were holding me hostage to it. They were holding me hostage to the parameters of how they saw me, and they weren't letting me go.
You know, I was pretty blessed. You know, my husband's parents, they're amazing.
Are they?
You know, they're Norwegian descent.
Oh, here's this for real white boy. This is not Latino white boy.
I know. Sometimes we joke, like when I'm cooking and I put spices, he's like, are you using your Puerto Rican stuff? I said, okay, little white boy.
I know. We got to teach you. The food is not going to be bland. We're going to teach you.
That's right. But, you know, I guess we joke like that internally at home. But his family, you know, has been amazing. And the first time I met him, oh my God, the first time I met them was at church, at their home church. And when I walked in, everybody turned around to look.
Were you the only person of color in there?
Yes.
Nice.
And I was like, I'm going to kill you in the house of the Lord. In the name of Jesus, I will kill you. Right. And, but, you know, his mom came and she saw me and she gave me a big old hug in front of the whole church.
Go ahead.
Like, oh, okay, we're huggers.
She was trying to let them know.
That's right. And
she was trying to let them know.
Yeah.
Like,
so
don't trigger.
It was funny you say that because after that, everybody was like, oh, okay, so she's all right. And I was like, really? But then, you know, then we went to the farm because my husband is a farmer. After the military, the family farm is the business. And
is that where you guys met, in the military?
In the military, yeah.
And I want to get into that, but go on.
Yeah. So I went to the farm and we had brunch, and Angie's not shy with food. Let me tell you that.
Nor is Shay. I had a colleague who
I
told
can
me.
Eat.
I know, girl. I had a colleague who told me just like 2 days ago. He's like, every time I'm calling you, you're eating, Shay. I was like, I know.
And
I know.
So, you know, and we had a great brunch, and I asked questions about the farm and everything. And when we left and we got in the car, I said, ooh. I said, you're stuck with me because your parents love me. And he was like, well, that's the idea. I hope so. But he was so nervous.
How long had you guys been dating when that happened?
Oh my God. We had been dating for about 2.5 years. We've known each other for 18 years before we got married.
Shut up.
No, but because of the military deployments, you know, I was stationed in Germany. He was stationed in the States. We were just friends.
Okay. So at what point did it become a love connection? See, girl, you done tell me stuff. I love this stuff.
It is, I call that providence. The Lord was behind it. Because here's why. In 2012, my father was diagnosed with cancer, lung cancer. So I became his caregiver, which was, that's the hardest thing I've done in my life.
Sure.
And so, well, I want to say hi to my niece.
I see her. She said,
and,
hey, Auntie.
And so one of the days that we went to the doctor basically said, you know, there's nothing else we can do. There's some clinical trials. And I remember it was like the 5th of October that year. And I said, God, I was just so down that night. And around 7 o'clock, somebody called me from Minnesota. I'm like, who the hell do I know in Minnesota? And it was him. He's like, you know, I don't know why, but something told me to call you. And so we talked for like 5 hours.
Of course you did. Because you were wide open. You were wide open.
And so that was the beginning. And it's funny because I've known him for so long. My mom knew about him. And my mom has always said that I was going to marry her. Marry him.
I know.
She's like, you're going to end up marrying that farm boy. I said, I ain't gonna
No, I'm not.
Farm wife. I don't think so.
You mean this farm boy that I married and I'm living in Minnesota now?
That's right. Exactly. So yeah. And then that's how we met.
Do you guys have children together?
No, we do not. But he has kids that live with us. So when I married him 5 years ago, I also became an instant stepmom of 3.
5 years. Oh, 3 stepchildren. Wonderful.
Yes.
What's their ages?
So we have a 16, a 14, and a 12.
Woo! Them the fiery years, because
That's,
our daughter just turned 13.
that
I
that
don't
has
like her a
been
lot
a
right
very
now.
enlightening experience. Let's just say that deserves a completely different show.
Like a girlfriend of mine said, don't you worry. She's going away, but she'll be back around the age of 18 and it'll get good again. She's going away on a little vacation. Bid her farewell. Yeah, because she's not the nicest person right now.
Oh, you're
It's
too
hard.
funny. Yeah,
I have a question for you. So one of the things that you said in the information when I said, hey, Angie, just send me a little bio of yourself. You had an autoimmune disease
I did.
that really affected your life greatly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind telling me, unpacking that for a little bit,
Yeah,
a little bit for us, like what it was, how you felt, the repercussions of said autoimmune disease in your life? Because I could tell
absolutely.
it was greatly affected.
Yeah, so in 2007,
Uh-huh.
after I came back from my last deployment, actually, while I was in the deployment, I lost a lot of weight. I lost like about 30 pounds. And I said, ooh, my workout is paying off. I
Mm-hmm.
am looking good and everything. And so we got back to the States. And I remember that I went for a run. And right in the middle of, after like about a mile, I felt like I was having a heart attack.
Oh.
My heart was just, it was like an elephant was sitting there. And so I went to the hospital and they said, well, it looks maybe you have some high blood pressure. And I said, what? And so they sent me to do some tests and everything. And then while during that time, I remember that I went to a state park just hiking. And one of my friends said, hey, what's wrong with your neck? And I said, what? And when I looked, my neck was swollen. I had not noticed. So it was this area here, which is where the thyroid is. And
Thyroid
you can
is.
see the scar.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to
I actually can't see the scar from here,
oh,
but I believe you.
that's good. And so they took me to the ER and they treated it like an allergy, but the doctor said, I am pretty sure you have some thyroid issues. So they did all the work, the blood work, and it turns out I had a Graves' disease.
What is that?
That is the hyperactive thyroid. So I was creating a lot of thyroid.
So that's why you were losing weight.
That's right. So some of the symptoms of that were like high blood pressure, heartbeat, a lot of weight loss. For me, I had a condition, and I cannot think about it. But my eyes, the white in my eyes were always swollen, like I had an allergy.
Wow.
And then, of course, it's something that's called the goiter, which is
Yeah.
your thyroid, just swells, and you just see it. You can see the shape. And
Yeah.
mine was so big that when I went to an endocrinologist, he said, we're going to treat it with medication, but I can tell you right now that we are going to have to do surgery. Because the other option was to use radioactive iodine. So it's some pills that you take, and you have to be by yourself for like 2 weeks because it's radioactive and people can't be around. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm just like, okay, pause. If people can't be around me, why do I have to be around me taking this medicine?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But he told me, he said, we're not going to do that because your goiter is so big that it's going to cause your eyes to bulge. And I'm sorry, but I'm shallow. I said, I don't think so.
You need to do something that's going to keep these eyes looking good, please, doctor.
Yeah. So after a year of treatment, we did the surgery. And that year was just pure hell.
I bet.
Because one of the things that Graves' disease does, it messes up with your hormones and your emotions. And one day you're up and one day you're down. And the most minute thing would make me cry for no reason. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. Why am I crying?
How does one get Graves' disease?
I'm sorry?
How does one get Graves' disease?
It can happen to anybody. Usually it's mostly women, and usually it's hereditary. So interesting, when I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, like 3 months later, my mom was diagnosed also with Graves' disease. Just because I urged her to check her thyroid.
Yeah.
So
was she getting thinner?
I'm sorry?
Was your mom getting thinner?
She was too. Yeah. Yeah. And her hair was getting thin too.
And her hair, which is interesting, is because it seems you just laid it out. There's a hereditary component. It came through the maternal line here in this particular instance. But what's interesting is you were affected by it before your mother. So typically when something is hereditary, it hits them at the same time. Like I recently met a man I mean, it's really sad to hear this. Every man in his um, familial line that goes back 4 generations has died before the age of 53 or by the age of 53 of a heart attack, of a massive heart attack. And so the point is that everybody experienced this hereditary thing at the same time. But I'm going to assume that your mother is at least 20 years older than you.
Yes.
And
So,
your mother experienced it much later. That doesn't seem normal.
So the thing with thyroid disease and the predisposition of the body to create problems, sometimes it's because it's genetic. Sometimes it can lay dormant. For me, my doctors believe that what the catalyst for that was the environment that I was deployed at the time.
Where was that?
I was in Kuwait at the time, and it was 132 degrees. It was just miserable. And so the working out and everything, I mean, mentally it was not stressful, I have to be honest, compared to some of my my brothers and sisters who are like deep in Iraq. But it was a harsh environment to be in, so the doctors believe that some of that environmental stressors can just kind of kick it into high gear.
I agree. Those things, the thing that I've always said, and I've been saying a lot lately, probably because I have stressors in my life. My husband has kidney failure, is that you cannot trick the body. It feels the stress. Even if you go, I'm fine, I feel good.
Yeah.
If you are inundated with stress, the body is still taking it in. So even if you've kind of tricked yourself, you found your thing that you kind of escape with, or your coping mechanism, you are not tricking your body. Your body is feeling it. Your body is taking it in. So that's interesting. So it was a very physically disruptive environment for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and so during that time,
you're stuck.
Because my phone just gave me you need to recharge.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. I like the music sheet behind you.
Thank you. So I'm gonna have to do this anyway. So
that's
at
all right.
that time, I was still in the military, and because of that emotional hormonal state that I was in, it was just a really hard time, and my leadership did not understand it. Because of my high blood pressure due to the thyroid problems, there was a lot of physical fitness stuff that I couldn't do. And so in the military, they call it a profile. And it's basically a guidance of the things you can and cannot do. And, one of my commanders, he was like, he didn't believe it. And of course, I'm trying to be hardcore. Oh, I am as good as the boys. I'm going to do this. And I decided to go in like this 6-mile run. And like at 3 miles, my heart, I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
Right.
And so our brigade doctor saw me, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? Because he knew about the restrictions that I had.
Right.
And let's just say that afternoon when I came back to work, the brigade doctor was giving my commander an earful.
And like, don't put a girl out there to die.
Right. And so the environment was so hard for me that I actually considered getting out of the military at that point. But
I mean, at that point, I know nothing about the military, but at that point, couldn't there be like a honorable discharge? Like, if you physically can't do the things that they're wanting you to do, can we not part ways and say, thank you so much for your service? We recognize our contribution to the current ailment that you have. We thank you for your service to us. We bid you farewell and adieu. And
so there is a process. There is a process to be medically discharged from the military, and you have to be on a profile for a certain amount of time. There's paperwork that needs to happen, documentation. At that point, I was only a year, and then they decided to take out my thyroid.
Well, how long does it have to be under medical?
It depends on the condition. It can be a long time,
like 5 years.
It can be, yeah. So it depends on the condition.
Sounds
So,
like someone can be dead by the time they decide that
well, let's
you.
hope not.
Right.
But they took my thyroid out, and I automatically felt better.
Okay.
And but the problem is, then I became hypothyroid, which
Right.
is
So do
the
you have to take
opposite.
Synthroid?
I do. Yep.
My husband's sister was born without a thyroid, so that's how I learned about
Oh,
that drug.
wow. So yeah, so then I take that every single day, and it came with a lot of issues, different kind of symptoms, but it's so much better than when I had.
You're stuck, Angie. Okay. So much better than
It's
what?
just sometimes it's just. Oh, then when I had Graves' disease.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
so now that
So
the thyroid is removed, you no longer have Graves' disease.
I do not. That's right.
Okay.
So
So
now my thyroid is the opposite. It's just
it's
not
slow,
working. It's very slow. That's
right?
right.
Because it's not there.
That's right.
So you're leaning on the medicine to basically kind of synthetically make the body think
That's right.
like you have a thyroid, it's working, but it's a slow working thyroid. I
That's
get
right.
it. You're having difficulty with your phone, Angie?
Yes. Yes.
That's all
Sorry.
right. Do you know what? I can hook you up. I got the ghetto hookup. Do you got a book or something? Do you have any books, heavy books in your
Oh, it's the
office?
charging thing.
Oh,
Oh, here.
darn
Let's
it.
do this. I'm going to. You're going to look up for a second, okay?
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to keep asking you questions just to keep it going. I wanted also in your bio, you spoke about becoming kind of like a the crazy garden lady,
Crazy
and
plant lady.
right, and really changing your diet and
Yes.
and your life. And somehow, I don't know how, but I want to know, trail running came into that picture. So that's what I want to know. Lead me up to that.
Okay, so I've always run. I went to college in a track and field scholarship, and then when I joined the Army, running became a job, and I just lost the love for it. It was terrible. And so, but I wanted to stay in shape. With my thyroid issues, running was really hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Because of the joint pains and everything.
Oh, you get joint pains.
Oh yes, that's how I know when I need my medication adjusted.
Oh.
Because I get really bad joint pains. And then so because I always run on the roads, I was like, this just really sucks. And my doctor was like, well, you may consider doing something else other than running. And I said, but I love running. I really do.
I know, I do
retired,
too. You can go places.
Yeah. And so I remember seeing a runner's magazine, an article with Myrna.
And that's how we know each other. We're both in the Fat Girl running group.
Yep. And so I remember reading the article, and I was still like, I love her.
She's a beast.
Love her.
She is a beast.
So here's one part of the thyroid problem I had. I gained a lot of weight. And I mean, I had people who made comments to me like, oh, you became the fat one now.
Pardon me?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Stop.
Yep.
Pause. I want to address that because that is just so interesting to me. I was talking with a friend earlier today, and what is interesting to me is how creative, how persistent, how consistent human beings will go out of their way to find ways to be unkind to other human beings. We are just like, we're going to do it, aren't we? We're going to find a way to break you down. I'm like, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to be that person? I've been a bitch before. Have you ever been a bitch before? Like you do something out of bitchy moment. How do you feel after that bitchy moment? Please tell me, Angie. How do you feel?
I feel terrible.
Right. You don't feel good. So when people are consistently nasty and mean, they're telling you the crap they are living in every day. And that's what I walk away from. And I'm like, I get it, but I'm going to stay away from you, meanie.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry that you ever heard somebody tell you that. That's horrible.
Yeah. But so
why am I gaining weight? No, I'm joking. Go on.
So it was that so it was hard for me running on the roads. It was just taking a toll. And I remember seeing that article, and Myrna was so embracing of her fabulousness.
I know.
I said,
she was like, yeah, that's
girl.
Right. I'm fat girl running. What you gonna do about it?
I said, I can be a runner, a bona fide runner with a Puerto Rican booty.
That's right. I got a Bahamian one. I got a Bahamian one, which
And
means I got enough for at least 3 girls up in this piece.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was reading. I said trail running. I never considered trail running, and you know what? I'm gonna try that. So I remember I went to one of the trails close to here, and God, I almost broke my neck because trail running is brutal. If you
I know. I don't think I'm a trail runner. I'm like, where's that road? I'm a little bit of a bougie runner. I'm like,
I
is there a
tripped.
golf course around here? Because I really like running a golf course.
Mm-hmm. No, I tripped on this root from a
See?
tree and tumbled down, and it was crazy. But I went next day and got me some trail running shoes. But one thing I noticed was that after the run, I was not in pain. I was
Oh.
just like, I think I found it. I think I found what I can do. And so
Ooh.
one of the things
Because of the softer earth?
yes, yes.
Mm.
So I am not a competitive trail runner. I consider myself a rookie. I just started about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, but you go distances. I see you. How
And
far do you go?
So usually when I run around between 4 and 5 miles, which is hard on the trail because most of the time it's uphill. And
That's what I'm trying to say. I know you're a beast, Angie. I've seen you. I've seen where you're running.
so
I would be like, Angie. I mean, it would be cute. It would not be pretty.
but you know, one of the things that I have this planner. It's called the priority planner, and
Uh-huh.
it is to kind of work on your goals and things like that. And when
Yeah.
I picked it up, the one I picked up, it said in the front, "Do not be afraid of the goals that make you nervous."
Ooh,
And I was like,
that is a good one.
yes.
Do not be
So here,
afraid of the goals that make you
so
nervous.
so here's one of the things that I wanted to do. I want to be a competitive trail runner.
Go ahead.
So I
What does
got
that look
myself a
like?
coach.
Look at you
Yep. And I
over there
told
in Minnesota.
mm-hmm. And I told my husband, I'm gonna do this. And my husband was like, let's do it. Because here's
He's
the thing.
he's
My
doing it with
husband,
you?
huh? No.
He's doing it with you?
Oh no. When he said let's, he means you, but I will support you. So
Thanks for translating that for me. Thanks for
yes, that's the
translating that.
let's.
That's the let's.
But
It's like when my mom said, we're going to clean up the house this weekend. She didn't mean she was going to do it. She meant my sister and myself were going to do it. Okay.
so yeah. But you know, my husband, it's my little white boy.
We like him. We like those little white boys.
But he's my biggest supporter, and
Mm-hmm.
he's my biggest cheerleader, and he can tell when I'm doubting myself, and
Mm.
he's there to lit up the fire, and I love him even more for that.
Oh gosh,
So
that's beautiful.
yep. And so
So what's
we're
our
doing
goal?
this.
We want to be a competitive trail runner.
Yes.
By
So,
when? Do we have a timeline?
so there's this crazy dream, and that I have. So trail running is gonna be an Olympic sport for the first time in the 2024 Olympics.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Is that the vision?
That's the vision.
I love it. What a bold vision. Well,
It is bold. It is
listen,
crazy, but I'm going to go for it.
I'm ushering you to it. That's a beautiful thing.
Wait
a minute. Pause real quick.
When I
Pause.
yes.
I want people to really be inspired here because this is huge. Angie, how old are you? Let's say it.
I'm
45. You're
I'm
47. Yes, I love that. So 2024, we're going to be 51, right?
Mhm.
And Angie is looking to the 2024 Olympics for trail running because it's an Olympic sport.
That's right. And I've always wanted to be in the Olympics, and why the heck not?
Girl, I was trying to go the curling route. I was like, maybe I should get into curling, the curling sport, but they didn't want me either. That's magnificent. I want people to hear that. Say the quote again, what you said.
Never be afraid of the goals that make you nervous.
Never be afraid of the goals that make you nervous. Oh, that's a beautiful goal to make you nervous.
Yes. And
yes.
When I talked to my husband, I said, okay, I have a goal and I need your opinion. And I thought he was going to laugh, and he's like, okay, do you really want to do this? Because it's going to take some commitment.
That's right.
And I said, I do. I thought about it and I want to do it. If I make it to the trials, I will consider that a success. And so what inspired me is that for the marathon trials this year, and I cannot remember her name, but She was 54 years old at the marathon trial. She was the oldest woman, and I was like, you know what? We older women need more role models.
Absolutely.
Age is just a number. I mean, it really is just a number.
100%. And not only that, there's a certain stalwart, there's a certain resilience that is in the older mind that wasn't in the younger mind. So I might have had a younger body when I was 21, 22, 23, but I did not have the resilience of thought and mind that I have today. So this is what I know today, that I could, even if technically maybe I have greater fat or percent, it's not technically, it is very obvious that I have greater fat percent than I did when I was 23. Why did I say technically? Like, maybe if you look from the side, no, I do. So even though I have more fat, I weigh more. If I weighed as much as I weigh right now and I'm not going to say it just because if somebody is way heavier than that, I don't want them to feel like I am making them feel bad about their weight. But I'm not a light girl. And if I'd weighed what I weigh right now in college, I would have been depressed. I would have been like, oh my God. So I was way thinner. But I did not have the resilience of mind that I have now. I can put my head down, put my heart to the sky, and girl, I can run those miles and nothing can stop me. So I know you can do this. I fully believe it. The lady who did the whole, what was her name? I feel like her name was like Sue, the lady who swam.
Yes, the Atlantic.
Yes. What was her name?
I cannot remember.
I can't remember either.
I know who you're talking.
Well, she was not 20. She wasn't 30. She wasn't even 40. I'm pretty sure if she wasn't 60, she was knocking on that door.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she had tried it multiple times before, but it wasn't until she was an older woman that she was able to execute it. So I think that you are sitting with the flyest stuff you have ever had to execute this vision and dream. I'm excited for you.
I am too. And you know, it's something that one of those goals and dreams that I've always had and never talked to anybody. And I said, you know what? I do not want to one day say what if.
Right.
You know, and I just, even if I fail, at least I tried.
That's right. At least you dared at least you fell while daring greatly. Yeah.
Tried.
That's exactly right.
Goal that made me nervous.
Okay, well, here's my goal. You were kind enough, and this is what happens when people are vulnerable with one another. You give the other person permission to be vulnerable back. So I've never run a marathon. I've run several half marathons, but I've never run a marathon. I would really love to run a marathon. And here's another thing. On top of that, I would love to run a marathon and not stop.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to keep running, except for, you get your little, your drinks, whatever. But there's nothing wrong with walking. Mm-hmm. It's just my dream. My dream is marathon, run it. Now I got to actualize it and set a date. So I was scared.
In Charlotte or in that area so I can come.
Right. I kind of want one on a beach or something. Like there's a Kiowa Island one.
Yeah.
I'm too close to it now because I think it's like in October. I'm like,
yeah.
What month is it right now?
And even the ones that are still on, I think most of them are being canceled. There's a lot of races that are being canceled. So
okay, so maybe I'll push it out.
Just push it out to 2021. Just be safe.
Okay, so what is something that running has given you, Angie? Because that's how we met.
Therapy. Running, I know it sounds like a cliche, but running has been for me my still place.
Yeah.
In moments, when my dad was sick, mm-hmm. I remember every time I had to go to an infusion session with him, I would come back and I would just cry and run, just leave it all out. When I was in the military, and this is something I don't normally share, I was in an active shooter situation, and I saw my boss get killed in front of me.
I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah,
it's traumatic.
So Dad, running. I would wake up in the middle of the night with just sweating and just
panic attacks,
and I would put on my running shoes and go running. So I
in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, I was that crazy person. and my mom would be like nervous. But my dad understood why I needed to do it.
And where were you when you were doing these middle of the night runs?
That was in North Carolina.
Wow.
And so I've always
Was it a country town?
No, it was a city. Yes, I was crazy.
Girl.
I know.
I am a wimp. I'm like,
running has been there. My father understood that because my father is the one that got me into running. And quick story, because I always love it. It was my first kindergarten, and we had our field day. And you know, you're a feisty little thing. And my parents, you know, they put me into these races, and I was by the track, and I was nervous, just switching from one foot to the other. And my dad came, and he said, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "I am." And he's like, "Okay, so here's the thing. This is your first field day. I just want you to go out there and have the best time ever. Forget about winning. Forget about losing. Just go out there and run, because when you come back, I want to see a smile on your face." And so I went out there.
what was your dad's name?
Louis.
That's my father's name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's say his name, Louis.
Yep. And so I went out there, and I actually won that little race. And I came big smile with my little ribbon, and actually I won all 4 races that day.
Accomplishment gives us great confidence, doesn't it?
Yep. And so that just feel this love with running. So I did it through high school. I did it, you know, through college, and then I joined the Army. Then not so much.
Right.
And now I'm back in love with it. Trail running just really, what I love about trail running is the quiet in the trail.
Are you ever scared? I know I'm going to sound like a total city or maybe island girl. Are we ever scared of, like, are there bears there? I don't know. Is that a thing?
No, we do. Yes, we do. So here's the thing. I'm 6'1". Okay, I'm not.
You are, Angie?
I am 6'1".
Me too. I'm not. In my mind, I am, but in my body, I'm 5'4". It hasn't caught up yet.
You carry yourself like a tall girl. But you know, so I always get a little nervous, just because sometimes I can be a little paranoid being by myself, because you never know. Do you ever? I see Criminal Minds too much.
Don't do that to yourself. My husband watches that mess too. I mean, it really has you on the edge.
Yeah. When I run, I have a knife that my husband gave me, and I know how he showed me how to use it. Oh. I carry mace with me. Okay. And it's because I have a vest. Okay. And he has a lot of pockets. And I have this little baton. It was one of those Facebook purchases that you see. That's right. Yeah. So yeah. I feel,
that it took like 3 months to get to you from China.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know, my husband wants me to pack heat when I go running.
Yeah, I wanted to know.
You see, I can't, because I'm clumsy as heck.
Right.
If I fall, no, that's fine. But for the most part, the trails that I go to, there's usually other runners or other people there. And
have you ever felt uncomfortable?
No.
That's good.
And usually, no, I stand corrected. One time I did, and I remember this conversation that you had with Myrna.
That's right.
Because she's right. There are certain situations that you get a gut feeling, and you're like, you know what? This run is not that important.
Turn around
and go back.
When did you feel that, and what was the cause?
So
do you know?
I went to one of the state parks here, and so I was running, and there was this one guy, and he was by himself, and I don't know, I just call it my spider sense. Yeah. And it was just kind of like, I remember running by him, and he gave me this look, and I think what gave me the spider sense was when I don't know, there was something, and I looked back, and he was standing there looking at me. And I said, okay. And I said, do I go back? And because it was a long trail, but it's pretty open, I could hear that there were people coming this way. So what I did is that I ran up to them.
And then turned around with them.
And then turn around with them. Yep. And then I make sure that, so when I got to the parking lot, he was there. And so what I did is that I just went to the area where you could get the passes for the state park, and I stayed there for a while. And I told the security person why, and she was like, "Oh, absolutely, stay here." And he finally got tired and left, because I didn't want to leave and chance that he would follow me. I don't know. It was just a weird gut feeling And I said, oh, heck no. Yeah.
So okay, because they're only going to give us an hour. So I want to ask a couple more questions. Is there a great book or anything that you're reading right now that you're like, hey, this is really touching me or doing it for me?
So yes. So my biggest thing that my passion right now, it's learning more about the environment and ocean pollution, plastic. So there's this book called Sea Change by Sylvia Earle.
Sea Change.
Yes. And
Sylvia Earle.
Yes, and she, through the lens of her career as an oceanographer, she talks about the changes and what she's seen in the ocean.
Amazing.
It's just heartbreaking. And
it is, and it's I don't get. That's like another conversation, but it's interesting to me how largely the Christian community, you don't really care about the environment. I'm like, why not?
It's crazy because I'm a Christian.
God put us over this planet.
Yeah. So
to be good stewards.
I am a Christian, and people tell me, but you care about the environment. I said, even more reason to.
Right, but because I'm serious. They're like, yeah, they act like you're like this bleeding heart. Like, why? You're like, because this is the only planet we all have.
I am a little crunchy.
I'm crunchy. I'm granola. Do you want some yogurt? Because that's what you're gonna eat with this. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so I get that. I love the book. Is there a song or an artist that's really doing it for you right now?
There is, oh my God. His name is Shaku.
Ooh.
Is his first name, last name Hansen. He is a young cellist from England. He's black cellist. He's like 18 years old. Amazing. He was actually
Shaku.
His name is Shaku Hansen.
Shaku Hansen.
Yes, and he has this album. It's called Elgar, and it's classical music. And he actually played at the royal wedding of Meghan Markle.
I saw him. I know exactly who that is. You're stuck.
Music.
You're stuck, Angie.
And when I need... Oh, can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Yep. So whenever especially the past few days, I've been thinking so much, and that music just put me in a very reflective mood. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it. Okay. What sound or noise do you love?
Silence.
That's a good sound. I love it myself. I love it. What sound or noise don't you love?
Oh, sirens.
I get that. I don't love them either.
It's just cringy.
It is cringy. What is your favorite word?
Serendipity.
That's a good one. I like it. I like how it flows.
Yes.
Serendipity. I like how it feels in my mouth. I like that one too.
Yep.
If you weren't doing what you're doing right now, what career would you be doing?
I would be a florist or have a flower farm.
I love that. A florist or have a farm. I love that, Angie.
I love flowers. Flowers make me happy. I am the crazy plant lady.
I hate crazy plant lady. That's not a bad thing. Okay. Last question, Angie. If heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get there?
You fought the good fight.
That's a good thing.
Yep.
Angie, I really appreciate you giving me time and space with you. Another beautiful soul who has given life her best and living her best life. I mean, I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The invitation. I am just so glad I found you on Instagram.
I'm so glad. I was like, how did we met through Myrna, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm glad you answered when I reached out and asked you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I'm about to send you a message right now because I'm going to come get your digits and your physical address because I always send a note to all of my people.
Okay. Well,
thank you, Angie. Have a beautiful evening.
Alrighty, you too. Bye.